Good morning, friends. In this video lecture, we shall see conditions of equilibrium of floating and submerged bodies. So we will see conditions of equilibrium of floating and submerged bodies. So before going into that part, we shall see various types of equilibrium. After discussing the various types of equilibrium, we shall move to conditions of equilibrium of floating and submerged body. There are three types of equilibrium. They are stable equilibrium, unstable equilibrium, and neutral equilibrium. Stable, unstable, and neutral equilibrium. Let us see each of these types of equilibrium in detail. First, we shall see stable equilibrium. A system is said to be in stable equilibrium if, when displaced from equilibrium, it experiences a net force or torque in a direction opposite to direction of displacement. I wish to tell that once again. A system is said to be in stable equilibrium when it is displaced from its equilibrium and it experiences a net force or torque in a direction opposite to the direction of displacement. For example, consider that there is a box like this, and if we try to displace this box in the right direction, towards the right direction, this is a hypothetical or this is an imaginary condition or a state. I am using this example to define or describe stable equilibrium. So there is a box and we are applying a force F to displace it. When this box is displaced, if it returns to its original position when the force is removed, we can say that the box is in stable equilibrium. That is, by the application of this force, its equilibrium state will be changed. It will be displaced. It will be displaced from this position to this position. And during that, if the box is in stable equilibrium, the box will experience a net force or a torque in the direction opposite to the direction of displacement. That means it comes back to its original position when this force is removed. It is called stable equilibrium. And the net force or torque that the box experience will be an internal force. So we won't be applying any force externally. That opposing force will be generated internally. So a system is said to be in stable equilibrium if, when displaced from equilibrium, it experiences a net force or torque in the direction opposite to the direction of displacement. This is called stable equilibrium. Now we shall see unstable equilibrium. So once again, consider another box, and here also we are trying to displace this box with the help of an external force. A system is in unstable equilibrium when displaced. It experiences a net force or torque in the same direction as the displacement from equilibrium. That is, here there is a box and we are trying to displace the box using the force F, and if the system, the box, is in unstable equilibrium, the box will experience a net force or torque in the same direction as the displacement. So if in unstable equilibrium, the box will experience a net force or a torque in same direction. That means if we remove this force, the box will not return to its original state. It will move to another state, another place, and will attain stable equilibrium. So the basic instinct or basic need of all body is to attain equilibrium, stable equilibrium. I won't say equilibrium, but stable equilibrium. So in unstable equilibrium, when we apply a force, the body will experience a net force or a torque in the same direction as the applied force or as the displacement. Thus we can say that a system in unstable equilibrium accelerates away from its equilibrium position, and this happens even if it is displaced slightly. So you don't need a large force to initiate that movement. You will need only a slight force. An example is a ball resting on top of hill. A ball resting on top of hill is a classic example. So you don't need a very large force to cause a movement. Even a slight displacement will result in the displacement of the ball. So that is unstable equilibrium. So I wish to tell you once again, a system is in unstable equilibrium if, when displaced, it experiences a net force or torque in the same direction as the displacement from equilibrium. And when a system is in unstable equilibrium, it accelerates away from its equilibrium position, even under the action of a very small force or disturbance. Now we shall see the last and final type of equilibrium, which is called neutral equilibrium. Now the neutral equilibrium is a very, I won't say strange, a very interesting type of equilibrium. I don't know whether I can call it as a strange type of equilibrium, but I will call it an interesting type of equilibrium. A system is in neutral equilibrium if its equilibrium is independent of displacements from its original position. So the system is completely independent of displacement from original position. A classic example is a marble on a horizontal surface. If we apply a disturbing force, it will move to a next position. Thus, a neutral equilibrium is independent of displacements from its original position. Neutral equilibrium can be also be stated that it is a condition of a system such that under the influence of a force or displacement, it neither departs from its new position nor returns to its previous one. So when you remove this disturbing force or displacement, it neither departs to a new position nor returns to its previous position. The example is a marble on a horizontal surface. So these are the three types of equilibrium